We'll go back to the phone lines now, and let's talk to Doug. He's listening in Lincoln, Nebraska. Hi, Doug.
Hey, Hank. Good to hear from you, brother. I appreciate your ministry and your desire to speak truth. I just had a quick question for you. Looking at Matthew 24, I'm wondering how you interpret that, specifically in verse 34, when Christ refers to this generation, when he says this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Do you see the verses preceding finding their fulfillment in the destruction of the temple in 70 AD, or do you interpret that differently?
Well, I think the prophets, whether you're talking about Isaiah, who uses the same kind of language as Jesus does in the Olivet Discourse, or John in Revelation chapter 6, who uses similar language, in all these cases, the apocalyptic language that is being used are pointing to final future realities to describe judgment in their own generation. And while the near future catastrophe fulfills the cosmic language, I don't think it exhausts its meaning. So there is going to be an ultimate day of judgment as well. So the day of the Lord in these cases points to an ultimate day of the Lord as well. But yeah, I think this language is very clear apocalyptic language pointing to the destruction within a generation of Jerusalem. And the problem is there are skeptics today like Bart Ehrman, chair of the Religious Studies Department, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, who use this very passage to point Jesus out as a false apocalyptic prophet. Of course, the problem is he doesn't know how to read the Bible for all it's worth, because if you look at the kind of language that Jesus is using, like immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, the heavenly bodies will be shaking. This is very clear to anybody who knows anything about the Bible. If you go, for example, to the Old Testament, you find the exact same language used by Isaiah. In that case, the obvious application is that the Medes and the Persians are going to put out the glory of the Babylonian kingdom. So it's apocalyptic language that is being used for the destruction of Babylon. Now, Jesus, the heir to the linguistic riches of the Old Testament prophets and a greater prophet than them all, is now taking that self-same language and applying it to the destruction of Jerusalem.
Sure. Got it. Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks.
You got it. And again, written about that in my book, The Apocalypse Code, where I elucidate Revelation 6 in this regard, Isaiah 13, and the Olivet Discourse that I just mentioned.